So, welcome to another episode of Tour Talk. We already have one or two in the can. This is going all right.
It's very nice to be here.
It is. I wanted to start today by apologizing to you.
Oh God. Oh good Christ.
Because when I tell you what I did last night, I know you're going to be a little sad and a little envious.
I already am just hearing you say it.
So to give this some context, I think it's fair to say that one of the things we really enjoy about being on tour, and is a privilege really, is the food that we get to experience.
Oh, Jesus, what did you do?
Food is very close to your heart, isn't it? I mean, your gut is close to your heart, so...
I love it, and I'll be honest, as you're telling me this news, I'm in the middle of like the longest stretch of eating healthy and exercising that I've ever been a part of, so whatever the fuck you're going to tell me you ate right now is going to just make me so miserable.
So, just context, like, we luckily ate some of the best food around the world. Like, I've been to Churrascarias in Brazil, I've had steak in Argentina, like poutine in Quebec, Tex-Mex, barbecue, all that kind of stuff. Like, I know, look at your face.
Hold on, I'm getting another call. I gotta go. Sorry. I don't have time for this.
So, I know that what you really enjoy about when you come over to the UK is classic British cuisine.
I do like, a lot of people make fun of it. I'm a fan. I'll eat it.
I mean, I am making fun of it because I had a curry last night.
Oh, God. Was it lamb?
It was. So, I've recently moved back to Newcastle. You know this.
Why are you doing this to me?
I need this for my day. I need to see the misery in your eyes.
I will say this. In the last 5 years, England, the UK on a whole, has really had a transformation of quality food, right? So when I first toured in the UK, I would say, oh God, the promoter wants to take us to a barbecue place, and I'd be like, I don't want to eat barbecue from the UK, it sucks.
Yeah.
Or there's a Mexican place, or there's a pizza place, and then honest to God, in the last 5 years, the culinary revolution in England, it's exploded. And
it's great.
Curry's always been the number one, and now you're telling me about this delicious lamb curry that you had, and I want to kill myself.
I think it's important to give the UK a bit of credit because it really has. I mean, especially in Manchester where we've spent a bunch of time. Oh. The food there is I mean, the fact that one of the best pizzas you've ever had
in my life, and I've had pizza in Florence, I've had pizza in Napoli, I've had pizza in Japan. Japan was actually probably the second best Neapolitan I've ever had in my life. It was better than Italy. And then Rudy's was one of the best pizzas I've ever had in my life. Shout out to Rudy's in Manchester, England.
That place is amazing.
Oh my God.
The best thing about when we went for pizza in Rudy's was that not only were you having the third best pizza of your life, but you were miserable because my pizza was better.
So the theme of this is let's just think of things that make me miserable or times that I've been miserable. I don't understand. What are we achieving here? What's the purpose of this?
There is a tie-in. I just thought you would enjoy hearing that.
I'm very happy for you that you had I'm very happy you had a delicious lamb curry in Newcastle.
Well, you know that I've been searching for a good curry house in Newcastle. Like, it's different to Manchester. The food,
right?
The curries here,
right? I mean, Manchester has curry. For those listening who aren't in the UK, there is a stretch. There's a neighborhood, a stretch in Manchester called Curry Mile. It's not too far from the university, and it's no exaggeration. It's almost a mile-long strip of the best. Each curry place you go to is slightly different and better than the one next to it. It's so crazy.
Yeah.
Explain to people what a curry is. When you say curry, explain to people kind of what it is, so people might not know exactly what when you're going for a curry. What is that?
What is in the term?
I'm just saying.
As in, like, what the dish is, or
if someone is absolutely just dumb as a rock and they don't understand, you know what I mean? So to some people, curry, saying a curry, they just think, a lot of Americans would just think of it as a spice. Like Americans don't say, "I'm going for a curry," right? So you're talking about a meat or a vegetable marinated and soaked in this delicious sauce, and put over basmati rice or specific rice and served with like a naan bread.
Correct.
It's unbelievable. And it's the only thing that makes you go from level 10 drunk to level 7. So each curry bowl, you go down 3 notches of alcohol.
I think that's a great...
It's pretty good, right?
Shout.
So if you
it's true, though.
If you have 3 curries after you've been hammered, you'll feel bad, but you'll be less drunk.
Yeah, you'll be full, too.
Yeah,
that's a lot of curry. Have you done 3 curries? Have you gone from a 10 hammered to?
I'm sure I've done a curry and a doner, and a half a pizza in one sitting for sure.
That's disgusting. And you wonder why you have butt problems on tour. This has got nothing to do with tour.
I'm just saying when you go on tour, I think that because there's so much free time before the show, there's drinking involved.
Fine. Okay. I feel like I've made my point. I'm quite happy that I know that I've made your day.
I'm miserable. Great. Thank you. Appreciate you. You're the best.
At least when you come over here, I've got the right curry for you. I've done the research.
I'm ready for it. I'm so fucking ready. And now it looks like the vaccine, the popular theory right now. And it's crazy. They announced yesterday that a vaccine from Pfizer that's looks 90% accurate will be widely distributed around the world by the end of the spring, right? So we have to get through this winter. Yep. We have to get through the beginning of the spring. And it looks like in the summer of 2021, things might start to slowly shift back to a place where we're not miserable.
Which is great, because what you did really eloquently last time we spoke was kind of give an oversight into how you feel that people have dealt with lockdown and this whole time period, and how it's given people space to analyze whether the job they're doing, because I think what really appealed to people who listened was that it applied across the board, that people have had time for once, because the world actually slowed down, to analyze their choices with life, where they were working, why they were doing it, and they could genuinely take a step back and be like, is this what I want to do when stuff comes back? Actually applied not just to the touring industry, but it's a lot of people who've watched this
worldwide
have commented that they understand that too. So a couple of things I wanted to get out of that, because I think it's worth going into a little more detail with it, is obviously the pace of your life will have changed, like me. When the world starts opening up again and touring happens again, is there stuff from your new routine that you'll take forward into touring, and will you do touring differently as a result of the time you've had off?
I think in a 2-part answer, I'm going to tour harder than I'm going to perform in more places in the next 5 years than I've ever performed. I will never take this for granted ever again. Not one show, not one opportunity that I have. So I'm going to work harder. I want it more than ever. That's just a fact. I want to connect with people more than I ever have. I will take the thing with setting a precedent is, like, in my head, I'm like, I'm going to go on tour and just exercise and drink less and just be better. I'm not, probably. I mean, okay. I'm going to go in with that intention, but I do think ultimately, though, I will try to integrate a little bit more of a very, very, very small exercise and routine, and probably just eating a little bit better, because the problem with tour, really, health-wise, is that I guess in real life, you could say to yourself, if you're trying to live in a little bit of moderation, which I've tried to do over this period of time, I'll say to myself, all right, for this month, right, for these 4 weeks, I'm going to allow myself one night of drinking and pizza, whatever. Election night, I got hammered and did Uber Eats to a McDonald's that is literally on my block. To give you some that's
Well
the
deserved,
most
though.
American thing I could do. But so the difference is, though, when you're home, you're kind of living in one area, and you know, like, oh, this place has great Thai food, this place has great pizza, whatever. But you know you're not going to go eat it every night because you're home. It's just not financially reasonable, or to stick to some kind of routine. It doesn't work. But on tour, every place you can go is known for this fucking thing, right? So it's like you just named all these cities that you went to and states that you went to, right? This is just in America, right? Each place is known for this ridiculous food, right? So you're in Maine, Portland, you get a lobster roll.
Yeah.
You're in Montreal, you're going to get poutine. And then it's fucked up because when you're in Canada, not only do they have Tim Hortons, which is, to me, just one of the best, like, coffee donut places, but they have different... The poutine is kind of, like, worse as you go towards the West Coast, but it's still good. So it's just messed up, man. So at home, I think on tour going into it, I will start out with the intention of being a little more moderate. How long that lasts, I don't know.
I think the whole purpose of going on tour is to go and experience stuff. So, like, you can allow yourself that. For me, I was kind of more getting at the point that before this whole lockdown, like, my routine in life was not very good. Like, I would wake up and check emails, and then I would, like, lose a morning to work without looking after myself first. So during this whole period, I've really tried hard to have some time for myself in the morning, because from my point of view on tour, like, as a tour manager, as soon as you wake up, you're working until 100%. You go to sleep, because shit can happen. So I think for me, part of what I want to do is take that forward, where I try and make time for myself during the day whilst I'm on tour, because, like, mentally for me, it has put me in such a better place than where I was at before. And part of the burnout
100%. I think the difficult part about that is that it's about what your role is, right? So, like, so, and it's the same thing for me in my routine on tour, just thinking about it. I would imagine if I'm going to try to do some of the things that I want to do for myself, there's going to be a sacrifice of time. I'm going to have to wake up a little bit earlier. I'm going to have to be prepared in different ways, you know? But I guess the difference is when you're tour managing. So, like, let's say on tour, when you're helping organize a tour, which I have no doubt will happen as soon as this is open, I'm going to be like, hey, dude, I don't know how to do any of this stuff. Let's say you're on a bus and the bus is parked outside the venue, right? And you know everyone's going to wake up around 10, right? Yep. That's just the routine. Let's say 10 o'clock. That means if you want the day to yourself, you're going to have to be up at 8 o'clock. And you're going to have to do these things that kind of suck in a way where you can also do your job and be productive for the people you're working with. And I think it's the same thing. I think it's the same thing on a different level, where I'm not going to be able to stay up as late as I want and drink all night on tour if I want to do the best thing that I can do. And I'm going to have to carve out time for interviews, and then my vocal warm-ups, and then drinking plenty of water, and then doing the things that I know, because my job has to be being 100% focused on the show and nothing else. I shouldn't be thinking about per diems and where everyone's eating or where I'm going to poop or any of that stuff. So it's like, it's just about being responsible with your own time. Yeah. And then I think, but that goes to being at home too. It's like I'm on a routine at home now where I'm waking up. I'm not setting an alarm, but I'm waking up within the same hour, and it feels really good and natural. And I have a certain amount of tasks that I do before I do anything else. And I think I will carry that to the road. Maybe not be as strict as saying, okay, well, before I answer an email or before I do this, I have to do this. It'll just be like, this thing has to get done within the 6 hours that I have in the day.
Yeah. I think what the whole lockdown situation brought to a lot of people was it slowed the whole world down, and it gave you a chance to figure out like that breathing space of what do you want to get done for yourself before
Yeah.
the world. I mean, especially for me, because over here I work with a lot of people in the States, so I would wake up to emails that had come through the night, and before I knew it, I'd lost my morning and have done nothing for myself. So like now, I'm in a pretty good routine where I try and put all of my stuff first, and I don't need to do everything on my list, but I'll tick off a bunch of stuff, and then I'm much more accepted and willing to then give my time to other people and help them work on things and put stuff together. And that is definitely a thing for me that I want to take back on tour.
Right.
And it's difficult because bus call might be 3 a.m. and then, yeah, we might get to a place and I have to be up at 7:30, 8 o'clock to do stuff for myself. So I might only get 4 or 5 hours sleep, but mentally I'll be in a much better place instead of just feeling like my entire day is devoted to other people.
100%. I think that's true, but I also think I've learned a lot about, it's just funny, like society's expectations versus what's good for you, right? They're not often aligned, right? So like
No.
nothing puts me in a worse mood, period, than waking up with less than a full night's sleep to an alarm. I'm just being honest. I know that sounds
there.
but I know that sounds I know that sounds ridiculous. And then you ask someone, why does it sound ridiculous? And then the only answers that people can give you are societal expectations of what makes you productive. That's what makes me productive, right?
Yeah.
So I have managed to figure out a balance where like I'm writing more material than I've ever written in my life. I'm exercising. I feel good about things. I still have time for my personal life. And I'm also keeping those things in mind. Like, what makes me happy? I fucking don't want to set an alarm. I hate it, and it makes me ill. Like, thinking about it is putting me in a bad mood right now. Thinking about it being like 7 a.m. and my alarm goes off. Now, on tour, I understand that might be different. But
Yeah.
I'm just talking about the things that, while I'm home, that's what brings me pleasure.
Well, no, and I think this is it. I think it's actually, instead of giving people like a script to follow, it's like people have actually been able to step back and say, what actually makes me happy? Like, I actually quite like getting up early and being awake before
100%.
everyone else and getting stuff done. But like, I've learned that makes me happy, and like, I go to bed quite early now, which is totally different for me, but like, I'm in a much better place because of it. And I think like a link to that is, during this whole period, I definitely had to ask myself those questions, like, do I want to do the whole touring thing? And ask myself, why did I get involved like in the industry in the first place? And it was because the idea of like running around the world, being involved in shows with friends, was like one of the best ways I could figure out how to spend my time. When I was a kid, I was like, that will make me happy. And I lost sight of that for a little while because it becomes work and you try and climb a ladder and there's a whole ego thing involved, and I got a little miserable with it. But I've been able to step back and think that the bit that makes me happy is running around with people I like. It doesn't really matter the level, the size of the show.
That's the key.
It's literally
that's the key. That's the only thing that works.
Yeah, just adventuring with friends. That was the whole purpose in the first place. And the fact that shows are involved is great, and that's the side of it that I love. But it was that whole combined aspect of it. So for me, coming back to the industry, I'm not going to take everything I get offered. I'm not going to actively look for work with people I don't really know, unless it's like introduction through a friend or whatever. But I just want to go and do stuff that I'm going to enjoy doing.
But I think what's cool, I think what's cool about that, and it's because, and I noticed this in my dynamic with you, is that when we're doing stuff together, when we're working together, and we do real work together.
Yeah, I know, it's laughable.
But we're rooting for each other. That's the difference. Yeah. When you're working for someone, it doesn't matter what industry you're in. If you're in music and you're working for a band, and you don't love the band's music, you don't have to be best friends, but you really have to love what they do. Otherwise, you feel like, what's the difference? You might as well work at the post office or be a waiter or whatever. It doesn't matter, right?
Or why they're doing it. Like, if they're doing it because it's from there and they're literally giving it everything, then I can get on board with that.
Yeah,
as
yeah.
well.
Of course, but we're saying the same thing. It's like
Yeah.
if you got to be rooting for the people that you're working for. It doesn't
100%.
feel good. It's like, you got to think that that's why people get into medicine or science or, because they're rooting for humanity. And I think
yeah.
it's very similar with what we do. It's like, you could be, from my perspective, I've been on tour packages where you're like not super into what the headliner's doing. And, and it feels like very routine. Very like, all right, load in, all right, show, can't wait for the show to be done. That's just that just happens. But there's something really special about being out. From my experience, the greatest privilege I've ever had is being friends with the guys in Clutch and then getting to be a part of the tour package and seeing them perform every night. It's like it's a privilege, and you root for the whole. It's really hard to explain, and I don't mean to like babble on about it, but it's like some tours you're on and you're just like part of the tour.
Yep.
Oh man, my iPhone storage is full. Fuck. Hold on. And we're rolling.
Incredible.
Okay, so what I was saying was that there's just something really special about being on. There's something special about being on a tour where, like, okay, so a routine tour where you're happy to be there playing for new people, but you're not really into the band that's headlining. It's kind of like, all right, sound check, show, done. Like, how do we get to the next one? You're kind of like in a routine of a regular job. You're looking to the weekend. When's the next off day? When's the day I'm not part of this so I can just chill? And then being a part of a tour where you're rooting for the whole tour, you might even ask the tour manager, hey, how did the show do? Like, how many tickets did the show sell?
Yeah.
Everyone's happy, everything's good. Like, can we do anything to make it better? It becomes this thing that's bigger than you, and I miss it so much.
Yeah. I mean, for me, it really is, because what people don't really see is the amount of people that are involved in a tour.
It's crazy.
If there's 3 or 4 bands and they've got 4 or 5 crew members, I mean, like, I was doing tours in the States where I think there was about 90 people involved in this tour from start, and it's
So
incredible. But if that group of people all bounce off each other, all get on, all help each other, you are right, it becomes this thing that is much bigger than itself. And when you're part of that, it is such a great feeling, especially when you're rolling into town and this thing that you're bringing is giving everybody who's attending the night of their life. Like, they're giving we're giving those people those 3 hours away from whatever their daily shit is. And that's a great thing to be a part of. And it really does start from the ground up with the people who are involved at all levels throughout the band and the crew, and like their intention of why they're on tour, why they're doing these shows, and what they're trying to bring to people. Like, that's why I want to come back to it. That's what I'm looking forward to.
And you see these little things happen. I'm sure you've been a part of this where, like, you're done, right? You're the opener and you're done for the night, but the headliner's merch guy still has stuff to carry out of the building. But everyone wants to hang out so bad that you're like, let me help you carry that stuff out.
Yeah.
And then it gets out faster, which means we can all hang out quicker.
Yep.
So that's like, I guess when people ask you why we do this, I think that's a big part of it. It's that feeling, that special feeling.
Yeah.
Without sounding too romantic. That's what it is.
No, but I think that those are the bits we romanticize about it, and just from where you left that point in the last conversation we had, like, that's where I kind of felt like I wanted to get to, in terms of, this is what I've learned during this period. This is what I want to get out of it going forward. And yeah, I'm really looking forward to getting back to it. And the fact there is now a line in the sand, apparently, with this vaccine, and we can possibly have some light at the end of the tunnel, is...
Yeah. Well, listen, I can tell you...
Is a relief.
Americans do one thing, which is worship the dollar. And I can tell you right now, Zoom and Peloton stock dropped significantly yesterday,
Wow.
and Live Nation stock went through the roof.
Wow.
And Bitcoin went up. So I'm telling you right now, shit's gonna open up. You know what I mean? I'm a doctor. Trust me. I know.
Amazing.
Yeah.
I'm really looking forward to it. I don't want to take up too much of your time today. I think we've had a great chat.
Beautiful. It was always great to talk to you.
Likewise, I just want to thank you for your time. I want to say thanks to Rob Anderton too for doing an amazing job at actually like piecing all of this together for us. Literally mind blowing what he's learned in like a week and a half or something. So
we love Rob. We love Rob.
I know we don't love Rob, which is very appreciative of what he's doing.
I really do. Sorry.
I'm not there yet. I'm getting there.
You froze again. Jesus Christ. Your fucking connection is just god bollocks. It's fucking bullshit.
And on that note, let's wrap it up.
All right.
This has been another episode of Tour Talk. Thank you very much, Nate Bergman. I will see you soon.
Dario, I'll see you soon.
Thank you for tuning in to the latest episode of Tour Talk. As always, you can find us across the socials at Tour Talk Pod. That's Instagram, Facebook, YouTube, and Patreon too. Peace!